Shalom. Call hello Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, which means all praises to Yahweh, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father, who you people in the world can call God, by Hashem, in the name of Yahushua, which is the name of the only begotten Son, who you people in the world can call Jesus Christ. Those are the true names of the Heavenly Father and Son. Plus, I want to give a shout out to the Akim, you brothers that's pushing and spreading this word throughout the four corners of the earth, who's also uplifting the names Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Shalom to you, brothers. Also, shalom to the Israelite foreigners, the speckled bird, man, woman, and child, whose bloodline traces back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers. Though you may look like the heathen nations you're scattered amongst, which, if you don't know, as you see in this chart right here, the heathen nations are the nations starting from 2 on down. Those are the heathen nations. Also, as I'm about to pull on the other chart, if your seed line, your lineage goes back to these people right here, as you see on this chart, through the man, and if a spirit bear witness with this word and this truth, and you can receive it to the speckled bird, man, woman, the child, if this does apply to you, our Israelites, though you may look like the heathen nations, or have the appearance of the heathen nations, due to the scattering of these people, so you're gonna have Israelites that look like heathens, but they're under the curses of Deuteronomy 28th chapter, the 15th verse on down. Also, their spirit bear witness that they're the children of Yahweh by Shemel Shah, and most importantly, their lineage once again goes back to these people right here on this chart through the man. Okay, not the mom, through the man. And to the few Akwaf that do listen and learn, Shalom, was you sisters. To the elect of the nation of Israel, wherever you may be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, where this word is going out to, Shalom to you as well. To you so-called Negro, Latino, Native American out there, once again, you combine, consist, and make up the 12 tribes of Israel. You are the Hebrew Israelites, the chosen people of the Most High Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, who you can call Jesus Christ. Once again, His name is Yahushua. And as you know, today is what they call April 1st, right? Today is what they call Census Day. And I got a clip. I'm not going to play all of it, but I'm just going to go into like a portion of the video, and I'm going to pull some scriptures out. So,
as far away from it all as you can get and still be in the United States. And this is Stephen Dillingham, director of the U.S. Census Bureau, who flew in on a frigid January day to count the very first person in our nation's 2020 census, the constitutionally mandated, once a decade, count of every single person within our borders.
The 2020 census has begun. It was very emotional to me. The entire village had gathered. They were playing native music. They were celebrating the 2020 census. And I just hope we can replicate that across the nation.
It seems Stephen Dillingham is not alone in his passion for the census.
How much do you know about the census?
Not much.
Okay.
In February, we traveled to Houston, Texas, where activists went door to door to make sure their communities will be fully counted.
Some people are very happy to see us. Some people don't even open the door.
Balai Andargi says many people have no idea how important the census is. Not only does it determine how many votes each state gets in Congress, but also how trillions of federal dollars will be divvied up over the next decade.
They need to know the benefits, you know, the school lunches, the road construction, and the parks, the health care.
Where does the census rank on your list of priorities? And it's a long list.
It's pretty much near the very top.
Judge Lina Hidalgo is the executive of Harris County, the largest county in Texas, which includes Houston, the nation's most diverse big city.
For every person who doesn't respond to the census, we lose around $1,000.
Hidalgo says in the 2010 census, Latinos, especially immigrants, were significantly undercounted. One of the biggest challenges in 2020, she says, is fear.
There was a fight about whether the census would include a citizenship question. So folks who are seeing on TV, families being torn apart who perhaps know somebody who's been deported are now afraid that the census is going to ask them whether or not they're U.S. citizens.
Last year, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected a Trump administration proposal for the census to demand everyone's citizenship status. But Hidalgo says the damage is already done.
The community's heard so much about it that we're now having to debunk the myth that it is part of the census.
That's good enough, okay? The so-called, once in a decade census, tracking is going off, okay? Because if you go in the scriptures, King David, okay? The mighty King David, he did, a count on the children of Israel, as I'm about to get. Bear with me. Right? This is 2 Samuel 24, verse 1, right? It says, 2 Samuel 24, verse 1, it says, and again the anger of the Lord Yahweh was kindled against Israel, and he moved David against them to say, go number Israel and Judah, right? That's like a census. You count every person, right? For the king said to Joab, the captain of the host, which was with them, go now through all the tribes of Israel from Dan even to Beersheba, and number ye the people, that I may know the number of the people. And Joab said unto the king, now the Lord thy power add unto the people how many soever they be, an hundredfold, in the eye, that the eyes of my lord the king may see it. But why doth my lord the king delight in this thing? Notwithstanding, the king's word prevailed against Joab and against the captains of the host, and Joab and the captains of the host went out from the presence of the king to number the people of Israel. And they passed over Jordan and pitched in Aurora on the right side of the city that lieth in the midst of the river of Gad and towards Jazer. Then they came to Gilead and to the land of Timothashi, Salakia, and they came to Danjan and about to Zidon, and they came to the stronghold of Tyre and to all the cities of the Hivites and of the Canaanites, and they went out the south of Judah even to Beersheba. So when they had gone through all the land, they came to Jerusalem at the end of 9 months and 20 days. And Joab gave up the sum of the number of the people unto the king, and there were in Israel 800,000 valiant men that drew the sword, and the men of Judah were 500,000 men. And David's heart smote him after that he had numbered the people. And David said unto the Lord, I have sinned greatly in that I have done. And now, and I beseech thee, O Lord, take away the iniquity of thy servant, for I have done very foolishly. Right? So King David knew he messed up, and King David was favored by Yahweh, man. Okay? He was favored by Yahweh, right? And that was going off, right? Because King David did go off, For when David wasn't up in the morning, the word of the Lord came unto the prophet Gad, David's seer, saying, go and say unto David, thus said the Lord, I offer thee 3 things. Choose thee one of them, that I may do it unto thee. So Gad came to David and told him, and said unto him, shall 7 years of famine come unto thee in thy land? Or wilt thou flee 3 months before thy enemies, while thou pursue thee? Or that there be 3 days pestilence in thy land? Now advise, and see what answer I shall return to him that sent me. And David said unto Gad, I am in great strait. Let us fall now in the hand of the Lord, for his mercies are great, and let me not fall into the hand of man. And David rather, have, something else happen, besides, being falling into the hand of our enemies, man. That's the worst thing you could deal with, is falling into the hand of your enemies. Because when the Lord gave us into the hand of our enemies, these heathens, okay, they were able to have their way with us, just like you see now, So the Lord sent a pestilence upon Israel from the morning even to the time appointed. And there died of the people from Dan even to Beersheba 70,000 men, right? And when the angel stretched out his hand upon Jerusalem to destroy it, the Lord repented to him of the evil and said to the angel that destroyed the people, it is enough. Stay now thy hand. And the angel of the Lord was by the threshing place of Aruna, the Jebusite. Okay? So the point was made. So he went off by numbering the children of Judah. Okay? And this is basically the same thing. But this is your enemy doing it. This is Esau, even the so-called white race, doing it. The white man, okay? So-called white man. This is what he's doing. He's trying to put in you people's mind that he's just they're just doing a count, to measure, because the demographics or are they change, okay? And he had a problem, They said they had a problem with, Slovakia. They had a problem with measuring the so-called Latinos, man. Which the so-called Latinos, they also Israelites. Okay? Right? Because really, this whole census thing is really for you, it's really so they can measure how many Israelites on the planet. Because this man, let me get that first. He wants to overthrow you, as it's going to say. It's Sirach 12 and 10. Let me see. Yep, Sirach 12 and 10. It says, never trust thy enemy. Who's your enemy? Okay, according to Psalms, the 83rd chapter, these heathens, chiefly the nation of Edom. Okay, that's the main adversary of the nation of Israel. Okay, that's who's in power right now. It says, never trust thy enemy, for like as arm rusteth, so is his wickedness. Right? Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Because they'll smile in your face, they'll give you a handshake, they'll compliment you, they'll give you a nice, a nice position on the job. They could give you $1 million, but at the end of the day, okay, some sort of fashion is they're back there plotting on how they could destroy you, man. You tribes out there, And this census thing is just another reason, Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with the serpent? Esau is a serpent. Okay? He's that serpent. He has the serpent-like, instincts or tendencies. Okay? A serpent will sneak up on you. You can't hear it. That's how Esau is. The same, way Esau is, or any such as come nigh a wild beast. So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. As an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, like this census thing, it's just a once in a year thing. We just want to, see how much the population's grown, how diverse everybody's gotten, right? But in his heart he imagined how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find an opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretendeth help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. Okay, he will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance, man. Okay, so this is all it is. It's just Esau, plotting against the children of Israel, trying to see how many Israelites, okay, there is. So when he comes down, like it says in Revelation 12 and 12 with that great rapper, because he knows if he had but a short time, he gonna know where, how many Israelites he gonna go after, man. Okay, that's all it is. That's really all it is. But the Lord, real quick, and actually, let me get Micah 2, right? Let me get in the blue letter. This is Micah 2 and 1. It says, woe to them, right, that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. right? Because Esau right now, like Genesis 27:38 on down, they have their blessings, what? The fatness of the earth, because they're ruling everything, and that they shall live by the sword, and that's what he does, okay? And the word for bed is mishkaf. It says lying down, couch, buyer, acting of lying, right? It says bed, chamber, but if you really go into it, it goes into what? Rest. And Esau's in his kingdom. So he has, starting with these elite banking families, okay? The wicked elite banking families who are also of the house of Edom, they have all times of the day, to sit and plot on how they could, cause, some to fall, like the scriptures say. They sleep not lest they cause some to fall, you know. That's how they do. That's what they do. They sit there and plot wickedness, and especially they sit there and plot how to get rid of you Israelites, because you are the main people they hate. You so-called Negro, Latino, Native American. That's what they want to do. They want to get rid of you. Okay, you get that so they could get that blessing, that birthright back, because you have it. They don't. Okay, so they think by many ways of trying to slaughter our people, they're gonna get it back, and they're gonna try to push for it with this new world order. This is why you're seeing them slowly sieging you people, because they getting ready to come down with that great wrath. And it's saying, "Woe unto you that devise iniquity and work evil upon your beds, man." This is nothing but evil. All the things that this man do is nothing but evil. That's all he know how to do is evil. All he know how to do is bring death. But it's not gonna work, because let me see. Psalms 2, right? And 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings, right? These heathen kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, "Let us break their band asunder and cast away their cords from us." That's all they do. Okay? The United Nations, what you think that's about? You don't see no Israelites in the United Nations. Okay? You see anybody of our people in them meetings? Nah, man. The what they call it, the G4, the GQ summit. I forgot what it was called. But you don't never see Jake in there. You just see what? These heathen kings. What you think they're really talking about? They're talking about how the moves our people are making, and how they could get rid of us, man. How they could continue to keep us oppressed. That's all they do, right? He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord shall have them in derision. Okay? And the Lord does have you, okay, in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sword of pleasure. Right? The Lord said, his heritage. Real quick. This is Jeremiah 12 and 9. Says, I started at 8 or 7, right? It says, I have forsaken my house, which is the house of what? Israel. I have left my heritage. I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemies. Okay? And this is what we're in right now. We're in the hand of our enemies right now. Right? It says, my heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest. It crieth out against me. Therefore have I hated it. My heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds run about are against her. Come ye and assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour. Okay? And why is he comparing his heritage to a speckled bird? Okay? And if you know what a speckled bird like, is a mixed color, right? Which there's no such thing as, a mixed race, but just using it, a metaphorically, just saying, okay? Because all Israelites, they're not completely dark people. They don't all look like Wesley Snipes. Okay, you look at the Latin tribes, some of them are dark, some of them are extremely light skinned. Same thing for the Gad and which is the so-called Native Americans, and Reuben, which is the Seminole Indians. You got real dark, okay, so-called Native Americans and Seminole Indians. You got real light ones. You even have Israelites that look like the heathen nations once again. Because our people throughout the thousand years of being scattered in captivity on these other heathen nations, our people, took their sons, to our daughters, like it says, and now our daughters to their sons, you know. So our people mix with these heathens. So you have Israelites that look like the heathens, but if their lineage, if their father's an Israelite man, you know, then that's an Israelite. No matter what it looks like, it might look like the mom. A mom could be an Edomite, but if the father's an Israelite, that's an Israelite. Prime example of that is look at Drake. They just showed his son, Adonis. He looks like a Edomite. Blonde hair, blue eyes, real like light skin. He could pass for a so-called white baby. You know, that's a prime example. But the Lord did that on purpose because he knew that Esau or our enemies, they were going to try to, do something like this and what? Try to number the children of Israel, try to round us up and what? Try to slaughter us, till there be no remedy, you know? And you saw they couldn't even measure, the Latin tribes, the Northern Kingdom, okay? Because the Northern Kingdom is huge, man. The Northern Kingdom is extremely huge, man. Okay, you got the so-called Dominicans, the so-called Puerto Ricans, and like the scriptures say, Ephraim, which is so-called Puerto Ricans, again, is a fruitful, I believe a fruitful vine. I believe it went like, you know, that's why they have a lot of kids. The Northern Kingdom, you know, people make jokes and be like, every time you see so-called Latin people, they have like 12 kids. But that's the blessing that the Lord gave them. Okay, that's why he couldn't even measure them. You know, let me see. So the Lord set it up like that so he could confuse Esau, because now Esau don't know who is who, no matter how hard he tries to find out how many of us it is. You know, this is Hosea 1:10 says, "Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered." Right, and it shall come to pass, and think about it. If you was to go to an ocean and you try to measure every piece of sand in that sea, can you do it? Of course you can't. You can never do that. That's impossible. Okay? And you have Esau. Esau would try to do something dumb like that, but you can't do it. Okay? You can't do it. That's the Lord comparing how much Israelites is on the planet. So they'll tell you in this world that Moab, they're the most populated nation of people on the planet Earth. That's a lie. Okay? The most populated people on the planet Earth today are you so-called Negro, Latino, Native American. Okay? You make up the majority on the planet Earth right now. It's to the point, like I said earlier, you have Israelites that look like heathens, Moab, or amongst Moab, you got Israelites, It says, let me read it again. Yet the children of the number of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, that there shall be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living power. And this is what's happening right now. This is being fulfilled right now. A lot of you Jakes, you're finding out what? That you're Israelites, that you're not black, you're not Latino, you're not Native American or Seminole American. Okay, you're Israelites. Okay? Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together and appoint themselves one head. And that's the thing. When we all the tribes get together, imagine how big that is, man. Okay? Us already being as the sand and sea, when you get together, that's completely unstoppable. That's what Esau don't want. That's what he's been, taking crafty counsel, to keep you divided by, language barrier, by a color barrier. He's been doing that, you know and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel. This is gonna be fulfilled real soon. This was the time we living in, right? But anyway, the Lord had it like that because he knew Esau. He knew the mind of man. He knows the thoughts of man. He know how Esau gets down, right? Esau is known for slaying Jacob, you know. So he knows, right? So Bear with me real quick. Let me see. Yep. Psalm and probably ended with this. It's Psalms 83:1. O Yahweh, hold not thy peace and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Who? These heathens, as it's going to go into, and consulted against thy hidden ones, which are the Israelites. Because for a period of time, like I always say, our people fell away from their heritage, and we went by the bywords that our enemies, our oppressors called us. Okay? We were hidden. Says they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. That happened. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Right? And I always go into that word confederate. If Esau, Edom ain't changed it. It says bereth, and it says a covenant, an alliance, a pledge between men. So they came together and they made a covenant, an agreement together to keep us down, Because these heathen nations, they were always against each other as well. But when it came to the children of Israel, when it came to so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, they were always band together because they knew that we were stronger than them. They knew when we were connected to our power that we were unstoppable. It was nothing they can do, especially fighting against us as an individual nation, It says the tabernacles of Edom, the so-called white man today, the Ishmaelites, them people you see in the Middle East, Moab, the so-called Chinese man, the Hagarenes, more, Ishmael, right? Jebel, more, which is of the tribe of Edom. Ammon, the so-called Japanese, Amalek, the fake Jews over there who claims to be you Israelites who stole your nationality, man. Been walking around the planet Earth all this time claiming that they were the true Jews, man. They don't fit any, of the prophecies. All they fit is the prophecy of them being what? The wicked. That's all they fit, They're also Edomites, okay? They're from the tribe of the house of Edom, man. It says the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. The so-called, the Hamites, them so-called Africans, because you do have Israelites amongst them, but I'm talking about them straight-up Hamites, man, okay? And Esau said that you were Hamites, okay? You so-called Negroes. That was a lie, man, okay? But them Hamites, they also took a big part in the so-called transatlantic slave trade, man, rounding you up. They'll tell you that Africans sold Africans. Nah, okay? Africans sold Israelites, It says Asher also is joined with them. The Assyrians, they have hope in the children of Lot, Moab, and Ammon once again. It says, do unto them as Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, as the brook of Kison, which perished at Ender. They became as dung for the earth. Those were kings, okay, of the heathens. And they got took out because what were they doing? They was plotting against to destroy, okay, the children of Israel as they've always done. Just like now, okay? Make their nobles like Orab and like Zeab, all their princes as Zeba and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire, so persecute them with the tempest and make them afraid with thy storm. And that's happening now. It's just going to get worse until what? The Lord take these heathen out of power. And this is what he's coming to do. He's coming to destroy our enemies. These heathens, 2/3, they're going to partake in the destruction of these heathens as well because they're joined on to the heathen. Though these heathens hate them, He's bringing salvation to who? His elect. Okay, the 1/3. This was playing out, right? And then we're gonna rule, okay, this planet Earth. We're gonna be the new rulers under Yahushua, okay? And the governing body says, fill their faces with shame that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yeah, let them be put to shame and perish. This is starting to happen. Look at Moab. Moab is ashamed right now. They thought they was gonna be up next. Okay, they thought they was gonna be the new rulers after America. Now look at them. Okay, they're through. Look at the rest of these nations. Now they got the coronavirus and they're through, man. Especially America, man. America is straight up through. This place is on its way out, okay? It says that men may know that thou, whose name alone, it says Jehovah, but his name is not Jehovah. His name is Yahweh, okay? Are the most high over all the earth, okay? And I'm going to end it with this. This is what the Lord's doing. He's stamping his name on the planet Earth. He's letting these people know who's really in control, man. Because Esau ain't running nothing, man. Esau had you people believing that he's running things, right? Put them in, this is Psalms 9:20. Put them in fear, O Lord, that the nations may know themselves to be but men. Okay? Because these elites, these elites that's running everything, they know, they're just mortal men. But you people, you look at Esau like he's some god or something, man. Okay? But you about to find, you average everyday peon people out here, you about to find out that Esau was just a pawn that the Most High was using, okay, to put wickedness on the planet Earth and put hell on our people for what? Being rebellious, for transgressing the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay? So this is what's getting ready to play out, So that's it. Call Halor Allah Yahweh by Hashem Shah, Yahweh Ratizah. This was edifying. Baba Kasha, Abba Baba, Abba Baba, Abba Ha Ayabi, Abba Ha Ayabi, Yahweh Bashim Shah, Yahweh Ratizah, I felt like Za'ah. The water, them yard, Shalom to the elect.